Encased, épisode 0. Let's go.
(1971). We woke up in a different world, where the Cold War ended along with the Vietnam carnage. All because of the Dome. The Dome. A territory full of anomalous artifacts, phenomena, and organisms. We still don't know what it is. An alien city? Some kind of a testing ground or storage? Whatever it is, no living thing trapped under the Dome can escape it. Yet even this did not stop the research. The major powers created the Cronus Megacorporation to develop and explore the Dome. Its secrets became a lucrative business. The Spire station was built on top of the Dome to export the artifacts and import supplies and personnel. The city of Crystal Sands grew at the foot of the Dome, eventually becoming a major transportation hub. All this required thousands of employees, and there was no shortage of candidates. Romantics, pragmatists, and adventurers of all trades swarmed recruiting centers around the globe, seeking jobs at Cronus. You were one of those people. In 1976, your application was approved, and you went towards the future. Whether a good one or a bad one, only time will tell.
Plusieurs personnages. Figurine Aid. Smith. Frank Foley. Abel Giula. Isaac Crowley. Nadezhda Kulagina. Margaret Fontaine, Boris Britvin. Très Néandertal. Li Xiaolong. Olivia Diaz, Cédric Maxwell. Pas mal d'avatars en vrai. Eden Goodwin. Rufus Cooper. Amélie Polnareff. Allez, on va prendre le crâne chauve. Capsule de transport, conversation, interagir avec différents personnages est un aspect important du jeu. Pour lancer un dialogue, cliquez sur le personnage. Celui-ci est prédisposé à vous parler. Une interface de dialogue apparaîtra dans vos yeux. Les conversations sont essentielles pour obtenir des informations importantes, des indices ou même pour recevoir des missions. Choisissez vos répliques avec soin. Les paroles en l'air pourraient vous causer des problèmes. Les ennuis, voire provoquer une rixe. Je peux parler avec tout le monde en vrai.
Monty James, Silverwing.
He glances down at your badge.
Ah, it's you. I found your file extremely interesting, and your CV wonderful. Inspired. When I had the opportunity to look over the files of my future colleagues, I couldn't resist. I don't want to sound boastful, but silver level clearance has its advantages.
Monty winks. Monty makes a ring with his thumb and forefinger.
You were number 63,784 on the waiting list, but you were lucky enough to get into the dome after only 16 months. Besides that, zero, nada, absolutely nothing. You're a dark horse for both the Foundation and myself. How exactly did you end up in this wing?
Putain, je réponds quoi là? 1, 2 ou 3? Gardez le silence.
The Silver forces a smile as he inches toward the window.
Well, you can't be as bad as Charles Manson. He filed for the Clean Slate program 3 times, but was never approved. Sorry.
An uncomfortable silence rises between you, and Monty abruptly changes the subject. He taps the narrow illuminator panel with one finger.
Look, there's a storm rising. The lightning is strange. Green. Should lightning be green? This is my first sandstorm.
The orange is dressed in a new jumpsuit. The shiny badge on his chest reads, Quentin Bisley, Laborer. He's side-eyeing the screen skeptically. Despite his tired, grim expression, his gaze is open and friendly. However, the general impression is unmistakable. There's something frightening about Bisley. The orange's face stretches into a broad smile, baring his dentures to the world.
Like everyone, duh. In a black car, under guard. There's other guys too, the ones who go through the front door.
He nods at the black-winged woman beside him. Her nose wrinkles in displeasure, but she says nothing. As you're about to step away, Bisley nudges you on the thigh, at the same time pressing something cold and metallic into your hand. You open your hand to discover a pair of lock picks. Just in case, Bisley whispers with a wink. A wiry woman in black wing overalls gestures imperiously for you to approach.
You keep your hands where I can see them.
Elsa's expression runs from shock to amusement, then settles on a confused smirk. Looks like you've given her a good laugh, at least. A man with a mustache and a blue jumpsuit is standing at the window, studying the construction site below through the occasional break in the clouds. His badge reads Igor Patan, planner. The blue taps on the glass with one finger and gestures you to come and take a look. Seems like he doesn't speak English. Using sign language, mimicry, and all of your artistic talent, you're able to communicate with the planner. Once he's sure you're watching, Patanin points up in the direction of Spire Station, from which you departed a few minutes ago. He sketches the outline of the station on a broad, foggy section of glass. Once he's finished, the blue turns to you with a delighted expression. The blue begins to mark up his diagram with a series of footnotes and numbers. Turns out the station's ring diameter is a bit more than 1,500 meters. Its height above the dome is 317 meters, and the total height of the spire, including the loading docks, is nearly 720 meters. With a series of confident strokes, the planner delineates the capsule's movement scheme, drivetrain, and massive hydraulic brakes on the glass. This time, Igor is quite laconic. He pauses, then confidently writes cargo and personnel in block letters, and draws an arrow pointing down. Beside it, he writes relics and draws an arrow pointing up. The engineer stops you with a gesture, and after it's surprisingly spongy and tooth-achingly sweet. You can only wonder what it has to do with crayfish. A thin, pale young woman is sitting at the window, leaning against the illuminator. The glass is slightly fogged with her breath. She turns to you. Her shiny badge reads Tomoko Kimura, physiologist.
We've crossed the border. No way back now. Even traveling by the funicular wasn't so thrilling.
The white presses small hands to her blushing cheeks.
You were thinking, why have no children been born under the dome? I've got a working hypothesis, but I'm not ready to share it yet.
She says softly, as if answering a question you didn't ask. Kimura peers through the glass in the direction you indicate.
Oh, that's the aircraft that crashed into the dome during the first expedition. I believe that's a wing fragment, and there's some white canvas. What do you think that is? Maybe a parachute?
The white shakes her head, bewildered.
I just can't believe it. It's all true. We're on our way to meet the future.
Kimura shoots you a surprised look.
You're familiar with the details of the briefing, right? To put it simply, the dome is a selectively permeable environment.
The white draws an invisible hemisphere in the air.
Inorganic objects may exit the dome without difficulty, but any living creature dies if transported back to the outside world. That's why we're all stuck here for an indefinite period of time.
Kimura is eyeing the dome's mesh glittering in the sunlight.
Supposedly, it's something to do with the atmospheric composition, but it's a weak theory. The difference of the air within the dome is so insignificant as to fall within the margin of error. Or to put it more simply, there is no difference.
She shoots a quick glance at the silver and lowers her voice.
I heard a rumor, or a conspiracy theory, that we can leave the dome at any time. We've simply been told we can't. If you ever decide to test this hypothesis, don't forget to leave me something in your will. It's astonishing.
Monty nods at the window. Patanen smiles. Bisley is Bob.
What?
He asks. Having caught your eye, Olafson, Elsa's expression runs from shock to...
Ok, donc elle veut pas m'enlever les menottes.
Gleaming, futuristic, state-of-the-art cities, straight from the pages of science fiction. Well-paid, safe employment, career advancement opportunities, and a world-class social safety net. Noble.
Stopping by the door's porthole, you watch as the ground slowly approaches. It looks brown-black through the tinted glass, and smoky blue at the horizon. It almost seems like the clouds are pulling apart there. You carefully review your briefing as you look downwards. When you arrive, they'll deliver you to the base, and you'll be assigned to one of the dome's many constructions. Though even working all day beneath the burning sun would be preferable to being a participant of the White Wings experiments. You were told about those experiments during the briefing, too. Just as you're about to move away from the window, you notice a whirlwind beginning to form above the ochre plain. The gathering storm drifts unhurriedly above the desert, a crown of green lightning flashing at its core. Clearly no ordinary weather phenomenon. It must be one of those anomalies. You freeze by the window, unable to avert your gaze. The outlines of the landing site, blurred by clouds of dust, appear behind the greenish glass of the porthole. The
Come here. Come on now, or you'll miss everything.
A badge reading Ludovico Nuzzi, scientific analyst, export department, dangles loosely on his clean uniform, which still smells pungently of washing powder.
Look over there.
He points upward with a sharp, wide. You raise the binoculars to your eyes. Under fourfold magnification, the whirling cloud above the rust-colored plains looks even stranger. Nuzzi bends close to your ear.
Fascinating. Do you want me to bring some filters? If we intercept, I don't know.
Ludovico laughs unnervingly and snatches the binoculars from your hands. With the binoculars raised to his eyes, he minutely adjusts the focus.
It's
The scientist looks blankly at you, then down at his lab coat.
Ah, this? This?
He lets out a blaring laugh. Ludovico points at the building behind him.
I work in Concord Station, categorizing relics. My job is to classify them by rarity. Then the blues package them, silvers issue the documentation, and oranges move them to the cargo capsule. Just like the one you arrived at.
Nuzzi points upward.
Then the capsule takes the relics way up there, all the way to the spire, then to Crystal Sands by the funicular. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It's not like I endorse this, but we all like ourselves a good paycheck, right?
He offers you his binoculars once again. Nuzzi looks from you to the capsule and to the landing terminal entrance. He flings his arms up.
Oh, mi scusi. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You'd better get going or you'll be late for check-in. Your colleagues are already inside, and the storm is growing stronger. Yeah, the storm is growing stronger.
The white mutters in fascination, eyes glued to his binoculars, which is fixed on the spinning whirl of clouds.
Welcome back. Have a good one.
Paracétamol.
Well, hello there. Bye-bye.
Just great, Mr. Salutations. Come back again. Move away from the door, now.
Employee, come to the desk for your registration.
A tall receptionist watches you from behind his desk with a bored, haughty look. The receptionist doesn't bother to hide his disgust at your orange uniform. He nods at you wordlessly, as if unwilling to waste his breath speaking to you. His metallic name tag reads, Dean Rayhet. The administrator slaps himself on the forehead.
Ah, I almost forgot the regulation pre-registration greeting. Just a second.
Rayhet produces a reel-to-reel tape recorder from beneath the desk, rewinds the tape to the beginning, and presses play. The speakers explode with a harsh, crackling sound, over which the tick-tick of a metronome slowly grows louder. Solemn music begins to play, and the administrator's face takes on a serious expression.
Dear employee, on behalf of the Cronus Foundation, I, Administrator Dean Rayhet, welcome you to your new life under the dome.
The administrator clears his throat and continues.
By joining our company, you choose the path of science and progress. You are among mankind's best, and we ask that you live up to this.
Dean squints down at the monitor.
Deserve this title. Do your job honestly. Obey the law. Respect your colleagues and...
The music fades, and the administrator finishes his speech.
And together we will build the best possible future for all mankind.
Dean puts the tape recorder away.
Now that we're done with the official greeting, I'll register you and upgrade your Selectron. Okay?
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage...
Dean's hands hover over the keyboard. You spell out your first and last names and specify. Rayhet scans the computer screen.
So
Dean snaps the docking port of your pass to a recess in the casing of his computer. The administrator puts your Selectron on the desktop and pushes it toward you.
this firmware gives you access to all of the Orange infrastructure. The Orange elevator, though it's out of order right now, the residential level, the utility rooms, and limited access to a few other areas for cleaning. One more thing. Please don't try to upgrade the Selectron yourself.
Dean continues.
All new employees have a short list of tasks to perform on arrival. Do you want to hear all the details or just the short version?
Rayhet snorts.
To make it short, get your uniform from storage, your weapons from the armory, pass the Psi abilities test, and complete your weapons training at the training zone. Then learn how to use the scanner, avoid anomalies, and properly catalog anything you observe. Last, go to the waiting room and wait for the bus to Magellan.
Dean sits back in his armchair.
That's it. I hope there aren't any questions.
Rayhet claps his hands in satisfaction.
Great.
He reaches for the tape recorder, but thinks better of it.
Protocol calls for a little welcoming preamble, but dash it all, that's nonsense. Welcome to Concord Station.
As he's about to turn away, Dean suddenly remembers something.
Oh yes, I sent your mail to your Kairos. Check your new messages. Well, that...
Casque des premiers colons. Salutations recrues, après avoir examiné votre dossier, j'ai trouvé des informations sur lequel vous avez acheté des obligations du Cronus. Kit d'autodéfense, instruction pour les nouveaux.
Stop fiddling with the lock.
Stop fiddling for the law.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Cronus Corporation reminds you, Please use a public terminal to access your account. Thank you.
Bon, on sort de la pièce. Ah ouais, je suis con.
What do you want? It was nice chatting.
Behind the storage counter, you see a small, neat guy. His gingery hair shines with something like brilliantine. His badge says, Sidney Maynard, storekeeper. The silver perks up at your approach. A thick logbook appears at once from under the counter. Sidney puts on thick glasses that seem to age him 5 decades in an instant and studies the lined pages. The silver taps his finger on the glass.
Slide your hands through the window, and I'll remove your handcuffs. That's better. Look,
Maynard adjusts his glasses in a businesslike manner.
Before I give you the uniform, please listen to these short instructions.
Sidney fiddles with his hairstyle.
So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life under the dome can be dangerous. You may get shot, spill acid on yourself, get electrocuted, or suffer the effects of a dangerous anomaly. You may also freeze to death or get fried. That's why it's important to wear protective equipment when traveling outdoors. Of course, in hazardous situations, the equipment will get damaged, and the more it's damaged, the more often one has to repair it.
The silver steps back from his counter to indicate the repair kit boxes piled in the back of the warehouse. He points back at the shelves behind him.
We've got repair kits for this gear. There are Blue Wing specialists ready to help you at any large base, of course, but they're not always available. So, you'd better learn how to use repair kits and workbenches on your own. It's a useful skill.
Sidney rests the logbook on the desk.
That's all the instructions. Now, I'm going to issue your uniform.
Remember, our honest work will make the world...
The silver disappears into the back for a while and returns with a small package.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully.
Unfolding the package, Maynard shows you a brand spanking new uniform. Sidney fingers an orange jacket, pants, and heavy boots.
Jackpot! You got a brand new set. Don't be surprised. Some folks in Orange Wing have to make do with rags.
He raises a finger.
One more important thing. In accordance with Order 16-225, helmets and gloves are not issued, but they're available for purchase from me. Please bear in mind that a full set includes headgear or a mask, jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots.
Sidney hands you the package.
Here's your uniform. Enjoy.
Sidney adjusts his glasses.
Sure, I'll show you what we've got. You know, we're pretty well stocked here in Concord. Take a look.
Sidney scribbles something in his logbook.
Please come back anytime if you need something.
handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
A lean silver with thick black hair and a huge cigar clamped in. As you approach, he flashes a sly grin and slowly raises an outstretched hand above the table. Something really weird happens. All the paper clips, pencils, scattered toothpicks, and bits of trash float up from the table and hang in the air. The silver trills with laughter. He approves of your reaction. The objects fall back to the tabletop with a light clatter.
Here for the briefing, huh? Shall we get to it?
He takes the cigar out of his mouth and exhales a lush cloud of smoke. The silver props his elbows on the table.
Anyway, here's the deal. It's more profitable for people with a high psyche to study psionics. Give me your hand.
Not waiting for an answer, he grabs your hand with strong, dark fingers. Andre gropes your hand briefly, then lets go, disappointed.
The pills, huh? The anti-migraine, sleeping pills, neuroleptics, downers. What do you mean you don't take them? Well, off you go then. That means no talent, huh? Why waste time? No wasting time now. But alas, regulations demand it, so I'll give you a glove too. Regulations, huh?
The silver takes a thin glove covered in talc from his desk and passes it to you.
Look, a glove, right? But it isn't just a glove. This is an ooh mama hold me tight glove. It takes energy from your noggin, your psyche, and pew, concentrates it.
He counts off on his fingers.
Learn psionics. Put on the glove. Transform energy into the necessary shape. That's the whole briefing. Simple? Simple. Now to your questions, huh?
You don't have to ask him twice. Mihai picks up a light bulb from the table, gripping the base in his hand. The filament begins to glow faintly. Soon enough, it comes to full heat and glows bright orange. In a little over a second, the bulb is shining with a steady white light. The silver laughs contentedly. Mihai spreads his hands good-naturedly as if to say, "You're welcome."
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully.
The toothpicks on the table skitter around for a moment, arranging themselves into a curse word. The silver laughs loudly at his joke. The cigar falls from his mouth to float in the air, ash flaking weightlessly from the tip. The Silver takes a pull at his cigar and releases a self-important puff of smoke.
Psionics. It's a gift for all of us. The forefathers took off someplace. Poof, gone. Only the dome remains. And this. Psionics, huh?
He rocks back in his armchair, puffing on his cigar. The toothpicks again slowly rise up from the table. Mihai spreads his dark hands. Toothpicks hover around his head in a kind of halo.
Scientists say everyone has an organic skill called psyche. You have it, I have it, everyone has it, huh? Big psyche? You got talents. Small psyche? No talents. You'll need to carry a lighter all your life.
In reply, Andrei jumps up from his armchair and thrusts his face close to yours, exhaling foul cigar smoke.
Quickly, think of it.
The unexpected question calls a bunch of different numbers to mind, but you can't seem to decide on one. The Silver looks into your eyes.
3, 14, 13, 76.
He easily names every number you've got in mind. It doesn't take the psychic long to think of something. A small 2-com bond coin jumps up from the table, and an invisible force folds it in half. The ruined coin drops into a glass already almost full of coins in the same state. Mihai shakes his head wearily.
No, enough tricks. I'm exhausted. Psionics is... it requires strength. Drains you. Remember that, huh?
The smell of good tobacco wafts off this tall, portly woman from a meter away. The woman fixes her coppery hair with one hand, and Margarita thumbs back a couple of pages in her logbook.
I see.
She glances at her Kairos, looks at you, snorts, and retreats to the shelves. Takachenko returns a couple of minutes later, carrying a device looking like an industrial-sized pneumatic staple gun. She looks at the thing in her hands, and then at you, enjoying your reaction.
This here is called the Kraut. It's a pneumatic gun for staples and nails. It's not technically a weapon, but when has that ever bothered you oranges?
It's obvious this isn't Takachenko's first time demonstrating the Kraut. She retracts the attached blade and shows you how air is forced into the... Margarita drags on her pipe and releases a puff of thick, yellow smoke.
I see you know the rules and won't cause problems.
Takachenko takes a leisurely draw on her pipe.
If you ask me, there are tons of pluses. You won't accidentally kill anyone, and the Kraut doesn't need cartridges. Very practical.
The Black is taken aback by your question. She spreads her hands, never letting go of her pipe. The armorer shrugs, puffing indifferently on her pipe.
It's the least I could do. We have a requisition list from the Silvers. For free, you receive only rubbish. If you want the real deal, check out the weaponry shop. Or me.
Leaning over the counter, the Black points somewhere off to one side.
Now it's time for your training. Fatherby is already waiting for you by the big gate. But before the training zone, go see that wizard guy with his toothpicks. Be careful around him, though. Don't let him pitch you a line. Psychic my ass.
She winces in disgust.
Ok, donc j'ai une arme.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
La psychique.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Oh, the better place.
I'll complain to the Silvers about that idiot. They'll take the appropriate measures. I hate those oranges. What the hell do they break locks for?
An engineer in a bright blue jacket is tinkering with the door lock, cursing under his breath non-stop. Blowing a curly strand of hair off his forehead, he turns to you.
Tell your orange crony I'm gonna stick this chewing gum where the sun don't shine. Just arrived and he's already damaging property. Mind you, he fucked you over as well.
Penkovsky grunts angrily.
I wish I could. I'm gonna have to disassemble, clean, and reassemble it to get it working.
Maxime extracts a thin, sharp, precision probe from behind his ear and
As an orange, I'm sure you know what this is. But in case you don't, I can teach you to pick locks. It's a useful skill. You'll see.
He looks at you, expect the blues, getting excited.
All right, looky here.
Penkovsky presses his pick lock, and an odd device resembling a hybrid of a screwdriver and a can opener into your hand.
Using a mechanical pick lock is easy peasy. No special skill required. They wear out after a few locks. While the old-fashioned kind is another thing entirely. Cheap, one use. But one has to know how to use it right. That's a tool for a master.
Maxime takes out another pick lock and crouches by the door. He gives you a quick lesson on how to pick a lock.
By the way, you can carry your tools in your belt. It's much handier to have them right there.
Penkovsky shows you his utility belt, where he keeps all kinds of tools and gadgets.
Actually, finding tools under the dome is no problem at all. There are even devices for hacking terminals and so on.
Maxime hoists up his belt. The blue solemnly raises his index finger.
And one more thing. Always use brand name stuff if you can. Groovy produces good kits. Modus and Supercolor do too. They've all got fat contracts with Cronus, so they care about quality.
He looks at the door again.
Damn these locks. Though
Penkovsky gives you a patronizing look.
Because they're poorly made. Warped from the heat, and the filters aren't worth a damn. The modules were constructed by marketing managers, not engineers. Building a city in the desert was also their idea. This project... I repeat, get a lock. And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Why do you keep bothering me?
It was nice chatting.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt.
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Make the world a better place. World a better place.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Ça marche pas avec le pied de biche.
Employee, please come here. There's an urgent task.
How can I help? Bye-bye.
I'm all ears.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Good day to you. Have a good one.
The giant display glows welcomingly when you approach. A red light comes on under the screen's steel hood. A gray old man with high cheekbones appears and squints out at you from the screen.
Do you copy?
He leans close to the camera, his glasses glittering.
My name is Martin Kingsley. I'm Chief Officer of Magellan Base. We were supposed to meet in person, but unforeseen circumstances prevented that. One moment. I'll grab your file.
He reaches for something out of view and produces a thin folder with your name on the cover. Apparently, your file. Kingsley opens the folder to thumb through the pages. He marks one of the pages with a pencil.
The Orange Wing. Well, whatever else can be said about me, I'm a humanist. I would never reject a person simply because they made a mistake. If it was a mistake. Tell me, how did you end up in the ranks of the Oranges?
Martin spins his pencil between his fingers.
You know, seeing the Dome as a prison is very common among Oranges. Partly because of the discrimination we admittedly haven't yet eradicated. Partly because of the abundance of guards. But more importantly, in my opinion, is because this is a two-way problem. You expect this place to be a prison, not a home.
Kingsley closes the file and folds his hands in front of him.
Thank you for your reply. I learned a little more about you. Now I want you to learn a little bit more about us. Keep in mind, this is not a rehearsed speech.
He assumes a serious expression.
When the Dome was discovered in 1971, it became a scientific and media sensation, a worldwide phenomenon, and likely the most significant discovery in the history of mankind.
Kingsley drums his fingers on the unseen desk, his gaze focused somewhere beyond.
I see. You were enticed here by radio advertising, telefilms, and all those interviews, billboards at every turn. Cronus wants the world to see the Dome as a stage where something merry and fascinating is going on.
You can't make out his eyes behind the glare on his spectacles, but he seems to be staring directly at you.
Here's the truth. Nobody was waiting for us inside the Dome. It's neither a treasury of technologies nor a cemetery of the ancients. Perhaps what we're doing now is defusing the world's most complicated bomb. Will our mission thrive? I believe so. If we work together and everybody does their part.
He looks back at your file.
I say, do what must be done. Because that's what the concept of the 5 wings is all about.
Kingsley points at the camera.
You're from Orange Wing. Your duties involve taking risks, and you'll more often face difficult grunt work. I don't think this mission requires an Orange participant, but my superiors are forcing my hand. Someone on the committee suggested it would be a good idea to use your performance over the next few days as a positive example. If it were up to me, I wouldn't send you. But alas, consider your mission to be of propagandistic nature.
Putting the folder aside, he sits back and stares at you in silence. It gets so quiet that the ticking of a clock can be heard through the speakers. Kingsley sighs quietly.
You were probably waiting for some boilerplate welcome speech, but I prefer to talk about real-world problems. Glad to meet you.
Martin nods slowly.
I apologize once again for this long-distance meeting. Now, as we don't have much time, I'd like to get to the point. I'm sure you're curious why you were taking off the bus to Magellan and brought here instead.
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeited.
He moves closer to the camera.
I'm going to show you a short video. Please pay attention.
Kingsley's face freezes on screen.
I have an urgent mission for an employee of your background and qualifications. I'd have assigned someone from Magellan, but I'm short on personnel. That's why it has to be a newcomer. I apologize again for the rush, but it seems I have no choice.
Martin noisily clears his throat.
Maybe you've heard about Nashville Base. While preparing the materials for this mission, I came across a short documentary film about the complex. I think you should watch it.
The speakers produce a hollow click. Purple, gray, and black spots flicker on the screen. A blurred title, The Cronus Archive 1971 to 1974, was used in the production of this recording, appears at the bottom. The shadow of an airplane flies across a faded yellow desert. A cheery voice fills the room. Every day, our researchers uncover more and more of the dome's secrets. There is no doubt the underground structures, so-called objects, are organized according to some pattern. Though early on, the importance of the relics to scientific research was considered insignificant.
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
The desert dims into the black of a chalkboard. White lines drawn by an invisible hand begin to sketch a schematic of the dome. The narrator continues. By 1972, however, many important discoveries had come to light in a period of only a few months, and the construction of stationary research bases adjacent to the more promising objects began. Personnel moved into Ankara in May of 1972, and within half a year, Boston and Dessau were also brought into service, though the biggest discovery was yet to come.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
The picture changes to a chasm suffused with electric light. People bustling about everywhere. The speaker's voice seems to come from a distance. In November of 1973, a massive network of underground caves and a structure of hitherto unseen complexity was discovered in Sector C-12. Soon afterwards, the construction of C-12 Nashville began.
Attention. Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
The camera glides through dim caverns as the silhouettes of bizarre mechanisms emerge. Metal structures loom up from the dark, surrounded by earth-moving machines and exhausted miners wearing orange jumpsuits.
Attention. Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
The speaker continues. C-12. The film abruptly cuts out, and Kingsley's face reappears.
The rest of this information is classified. Hopefully you get the main idea. Nashville is a very special place, requiring people with both special qualifications and special clearance level, though yours will do for your task.
Martin adjusts his glasses.
So, the task. Nashville base stopped transmitting and receiving signals yesterday evening. A reconnaissance group was sent out earlier today, but we haven't heard anything from them yet either.
The chief officer rubs his forehead.
Normally, I would never give this task to a newcomer like yourself, but I just don't have enough people.
He looks down at the documents again.
As I've already told you, someone up the chain decided to entrust this task to an Orange. Should you succeed, you'll become a hero in the official propaganda. And should you fail, you'll...
Martin falters, choosing his words carefully.
You have to understand, the terms of the Orange contract involve a certain level of risk. Fatal risk.
Kingsley is looking into the camera once more.
Your task is to get to Nashville, figure out whatever's behind the communication problem, get in touch with the group, and work with them to solve the problem.
The chief officer carefully returns the documents to the folder. You notice his hands tremble slightly.
Go downstairs. The truck must be waiting for you in storage. This task is urgent, but a small delay is acceptable if there's anything you need to settle here first. That is all. Any questions?
Kingsley's hand reaches toward the camera.
Great to hear. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later.
Let's save the drama. Where's the cargo manifest? I know what it is. I know it came from Campbell, but I can't accept it.
Manifests, you want. Always manifests. You're a cold man, Ulf. You're heartless. Hey, did you see that storm? Hell, you want me to go back out there?
Those are the rules, Todd. Nothing I can do about it. Sorry.
Damn it. Well, I guess I'm going back to Campbell then. Hey, can you spare a cig? I'll have a puff to pass the time until the storm ends, and then go.
It's my last one.
You're heartless, Ulf. Did I tell you that before? I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Have a good one.
I'm all ears. Have a good one.
La muertos.